So if I had to say, okay, what projects can do a 400x return? I mean, that is crazy. You have to first think of how improbable that is. But the ones I would think, there would have to be projects that have great technology, great fundamentals, that fit a narrative that I think will be huge next cycle. And we said next cycle being through a pre-accumulation phases from now to Bitcoin halving, which is April 2024. And then from there, we have 15 months of parabolic price action. Basically, so we have basically 2 years. So what project do I think in that 2 year time frame can do a 400x return? What projects can fit well? All right, so it has to have good fundamentals, good tech, and I think have a big narrative where it can ride the wave of that narrative. Actually, one that's coming up, Nolus, worth looking into, right? $20 million FTV for the last round. They're currently doing some kind of, I guess, sale or drop on Cosmos and Osmosis. I haven't really dealt with all that, but it's basically a $20 million lending protocol on Cosmos that has very, very interesting tech, right? So Nolus, we like lending wise because it fits the good tech, good fundamentals, and the Cosmo narrative. Now, the other one I want to cover, I've covered that before, kind of the same thing. So just like Matic and Polygon, they had low valuations. Matic was basically 20 million FTV, and it went to a lot. Right now, it's like about between 8 to 13 billion. Obscuro, it's about 30 million FTV. It's a layer 2 for privacy. Has the whole layer 2 narrative, has the Ethereum EVM narrative, and has the ZK and optimistic rollup narrative. So, and great team, great team. So we think it's worth placing a bet, and that's why we're very, very bullish on this. Because if that does 100x, that's basically $3 billion FTV. And that's still pretty cheap. Because if Matic does a 5x from currently, let's say 10 billion, if Matic has 50 billion as a L2, or L2 for interoperability, 2 billion is still pretty cheap. One other one we like that we share with our customers is Olavm. So you notice we have lots of infrastructure and basically high-tech projects. And you have Olavm, recent investment. This fits the ZK-VM narrative, right? It's basically a ZK-VM-based high-performance, privacy-focused layer 2. We're kind of diversifying across different blockchains. So L2 with the ZK-VM narrative, and worth checking it out, olavm.org. Hasn't launched yet. Will likely launch sometime next year, but this was at about 40 million FTV. Actually, part of the team from Q is building this project, or this is their project. Then a new one we recently invested in called Dojima Network. It kind of reminds us of Polygon because it's also an Indian team. Tech is good. Tech scored at 89% or 87%. Basically, it checks out. Fundamentals are good as well. It's an omni-chain layer where users from all different ecosystems come together to build cross-chain dApps. So this fits, so good tech, good fundamentals, fits the omni-chain layer narrative for next cycle, and has both Cosmos and Ethereum EVM compatibility. Two big ecosystems. You have the Dojima chain, which is a cross-chain EVM layer, right? Ethereum virtual machine. So anybody building Ethereum applications can port them over to Dojima chain. Then they have a second layer called the Hermes layer, which is basically connects to other blockchains. You have Cosmos, Polkadot, Binance, Bitcoin, Ethereum, Solana, and Arweave. So literally, if you're building applications on Cosmos, Solana, ETH, Bitcoin, all these can be done. So it's an if it's the big omni-chain narrative, we think it's going to be big for next cycle. So very, very interesting project, worth looking into. So this one we've not invested in. However, it's on our watch list, and we might end up investing. Yes, so Rooch is a fast, modular, secure, developer-friendly infrastructure solution for bringing Web3 native applications. And then the other one is, I believe, Movement Labs. Right, this is also a Move blockchain, relatively new. Right, Movement is a modular framework to build and deploy Move-based blockchains, applications, and infrastructure in any distributed environment. You're seeing how all these big narratives kind of come together, right? So we have Move as an ecosystem, right, where Move developers are gravitating towards Move blockchains, right? So in the same way how we had last cycle, we had Rust and Solana, and how developers were going from Solidity and Ethereum to Rust and Solana because it was easier to code smart contracts in Rust. Now, same thing. Move is a programming language to watch, and developers are moving there. MVMT network brings modularity and interoperability to non-EVM smart contract languages. So existing projects can frictionlessly deploy on Movement. So basically, you can use Move and have your applications run on both Aptos, Sui, or Avalanche. So you don't have to pick between either. Right? So you don't have to be locked into Aptos or Sui. You can kind of, it's basically an L2, kind of like how you can code in Ethereum, or rather Solidity, and have it run on different L2s, arbitrary optimism. So here's kind of the same thing, but on Sui and Avalanche. Very, very interesting. This one we're actually thinking of investing. Just want to put that out there. But yeah, these are different projects kind of on the radar. Yeah, well, I think that's kind of a good start. To kind of recap the big narratives to look out for, you've got modular blockchains. You have omni-chain interoperability, cross-chain. That's where it's been a big narrative. You have L2s, ZK rollups, optimistic rollups, hybrids, and I think that's kind of the gist of it. Thank you for watching this video. If you enjoyed it, we have even more content for you at Tokeometrics. Get there using the link down below.